Hello, I'm Rick Saltarelli with Salty Breeze Cruise Planners with this week's segment of Beyond Your Front Door. And today we are going to be talking with Bruce Waters, who is the U.S. representative in Florida for Ciao Italy Tours. Welcome, Bruce.
Hi, good morning, Rick, and good morning, listeners. How are you?
It is so awesome to have you back. Bruce and I have known each other for quite some time. But today we're talking about Ciao Italy, and the name of that company really tells everything about who you represent, doesn't it?
So true. Yeah, I think it pretty well wraps up the essence of what we do. It says the word ciao. No, it says the word Italy. So Italy is the company that Ciao Italy is the company I represent. But more importantly, it's that beautiful, beautiful destination of Italy. So what a great topic today.
Sure. And again, one of the most sought after destinations in the entire world for North Americans. So,
Well, it is actually in Europe. Europe with the different European countries, Italy's probably number one. France might dispute that a bit, but nevertheless, Italy is a very, very popular destination because it's a place that we find that many people go and visit by land. You fly over, spend a week or two in country, and fly back. So it's kind of a land tour. But we also see tremendous amounts of folks that are actually doing a cruise in Europe, doing the Mediterranean, Eastern Western Mediterranean, but then they're going to stay with us, here in Italy for a couple of days before the cruise, after the cruise. So we end up seeing folks in kind of a variety of ways, but the end result is they end up in Italy for a few days or a few weeks and have a great time.
sure. And I'm glad you talked about cruising because I do believe that's one of the ways a lot of people get there in the first place. And a lot of people think about Venice, Rome, and Florence, but there is so much more to Italy than those three towns, isn't there?
Well, there really is, and I guess that's probably one of the biggest assets of a beautiful country like Italy, because what we see on our side is that very often the folks will come and visit the three major attractions, right? And those would be Rome, Florence, and Venice. Kind of all three, seeing them within a 7 to 10 day period, or maybe visiting Rome and Venice as a port of call, or where the ship might start or stop. So, they're seeing those particular cities, but at the end of the day, it's such a large country and so versatile that what we end up seeing is the same folks come back to Italy over and over and over because there's so much to see and do, right? Rome, Florence, and Venice is the basics. That's where you start if you've never been. But then the second time you come back and you see, you go up north and you see Milan and the Swiss Alps and the Lake District, Lake Como, or maybe come back the next time and see the Amalfi Coast. And the next time you see Cinque Terre and Pisa. So, and the next time you visit the eastern side, which is much more of a Mediterranean Greek feel, cities like Bari. So, and then you've got the two islands of Sicily and Sardinia. So at the end of the day, you've got so many different places to visit. Each one is different from the next. They look different, they feel different, the people are different, the culture, the food is different. So, we end up just having this great opportunity to bring folks back over and over to the same country because each time it's a different trip.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. That's been my experience, and I've been there several times. But do you have any of those off the beaten path destinations you'd like to highlight today?
Well, I think what we see is, for the folks that have been, right, they have been once, twice, three times, they do want to come back and they do actually ask for, what's a little different, what's a place, or in our case, a region. In Italy, a region is more like a state, right? What state in the United States would be different to visit next time? So in Italy, they come back and ask us for what region, what part of the country would be of interest. So we see places like the Umbria, Umbria region, which is near Tuscany, but just outside. So what we find in places like Umbria, so it's very easy to get to. It's literally just outside. It's the region right next to Tuscany and Florence, so it's easy to get to by train, by car. But it's just they get a chance to kind of step back in history, much slower pace, a lot less tourists. Where like Tuscany is very touristy because it's such a popular spot. Umbria region is slower paced and less tourists and more authentic, right? A great word would be to describe that as authentic. Or maybe they'll come down and spend a week or so with us on the east coast of Italy, which actually faces Greece and the Adriatic, and stay in cities like Bari. Because when you look at Bari and pictures of Bari, you'd think you'd swear you're looking at Greece, because the buildings are white, and they're white with a blue accent, and gorgeous. So you're not picturing that being Italy, when you're always imagining Italy as being Rome and Florence and whatever else. So, and then places like Sicily, which is an island off the coast of Naples and Capri, it's just beautiful. It's different. And what a great, and there you could spend a week easy, because it's a small island, and we generally actually travel them around the island, spend 7 or 8 days touring the island, staying in all the port cities around the island. And what an experience that is. So, there's a lot of different fun places they can come that they haven't seen before, that we know about. And being Italy specialists, and the president of our company up in New York, Guido Dugo, he of course is Italian. He's a true Roman, so no one knows Italy better than he does. So he and his staff are so experienced, so knowledgeable. They can give you all those great tips on where to go and what to see and what's different.
You're absolutely correct. I actually had lunch with Guido one time, and you come away feeling like, I gotta go. I just gotta go.
It's so true. I think it's the accent. It just draws you right in. It's like, my God, he's really Italian. He knows his stuff, but he's the nicest guy in the world. But what I find is, and folks like yourself, the travel agent, right? When you contact us and you've got clients that want to go, I think what's great is that we're going to ask you a lot of questions, find out when they want to go, what they want to see and do, what kind of interests they may have: cooking, balloon rides, horseback rides, Jeep safari rides, whatever it might be, right? Whatever their interests are, because what we're about to do is build a custom tour, especially for you and your clients. So we're going to, use his knowledge to help build that trip. And that makes the trip even better, because then it's a trip that's really based on what your clients are wanting to do and see, and not just buying a prepackaged, canned tour that, you could buy off the shelf from anybody. We prefer to build something custom that's really exciting.
Sure. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because sometimes companies that we work with, they really just focus on transportation and accommodations, but you're more than that, and we're more than that, because we know that a client's vacation is more than that. And so you just talked about some of those unique experiences, those Jeep tours. And do you have any other of those truly amazing experiences that you would like to highlight? I know one would have to be wine tasting and cooking in Tuscany, but do you have any others that you might want to share?
Well, I mean, and it's what we just talked about before we started. One of my favorites, and I came across this a couple of years ago, was one of my travel agents had asked, what can we do in Rome that's different? And she had mentioned, do they have golf cart tours? And I had never heard the question. I had no idea what the answer was. So I contacted Guido, and he said, let's find out. So he found a fleet of golf carts, and they took the 30 people out, 4 people in a golf cart with guides, and took them on a day tour of Rome by golf cart. I mean, what a great idea. So, I think a lot of times it's the client coming to us even and saying, can we do this? And the answer is not always yes, but very often it is. And we're able to build packages like that. So, we do balloon rides, and, something that I think people enjoy, but don't picture in Tuscany, is because Tuscany is known for its, the wine, the winelands and the vineyards. So there we do safari tours. So you're in like what looks like a Jeep out of Africa, and you're touring the winelands of Tuscany by Jeep. What a great way to see it. So and down in Capri, we can take private yachts out, horseback riding, golf, of course. So skiing up in the Alps, because the Alps actually come down into northern Italy. So during the winter, of course, they could go skiing. The high-speed rail in Italy is fabulous, and that's an easy way for us to get the folks from point A to point B quickly, 2 or 3 hours, and they're in another part of the country. So we have so much access to building these really incredible tours, and very often they just start from scratch. They start by us asking, what do you want to see and do? What interests do you as a client have? And that's where it all starts. But most companies don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really the key for me and for those who are listening, is that it's customizable, and we have people Bruce being one and Guido in New York being the other, who's the owner of the company, have the contacts in the
Right.
destination to help create that truly authentic experience. So don't be afraid to ask because we have the contacts that can line us up.
Very true.
And
Yeah.
so you are,
And I was just going to say, and I think the key for us is too, we do the entire package. We build from A to Z. So we do from the moment they arrive until the day they leave. So that's going to be all their transfers and hotels and day tours and opera tickets and gondola rides and balloon rides and golf cart rides and golfing and all the things that go into that package. And there's lots of moving parts, lots of moving pieces to that trip. When you think about it, we put them all together for you. So it makes the trip much more seamless.
sure. And I appreciate that because it makes my job much easier. If you were planning a trip for a family going for the very first time, is there anything that you would just tell them as the destinations and activities that they have to go and enjoy?
I think that so number one, of course, in Italy is going to be the city of Rome, right? Rome. So, depending on how much time you had, and hopefully you'd have more than just 3 or 4 days, assuming you had maybe 7 to 10 days, right? A real vacation, a week or so, then you really have this great opportunity to do what clearly is Italy's number one trip, hands down, by far, nothing else matches. It's the classic Rome, Florence, Venice trip, right? 3 or 4 nights in Rome, 2 or 3 nights in Florence, and then 2 or 3 nights up in Venice. Because what you're seeing is three very different parts of the country. Venice is, the city of canals. And I have to admit, I've never seen anything like Venice in the entire world in all my travels. So Venice is Venice. Venice is amazing. Tuscany and Florence is just one of the most beautiful parts of the country there is because it's rolling hills and it's all these vineyards and it's the beautiful medieval city of Florence. And then you've got Rome. Rome is Rome, and Rome is the Vatican and the Sistine Chapel and the Colosseum and Palatine Hill. And oh my gosh, it's just so much to see and do. So that would be the ideal trip for the first timer. And then what we're doing typically is we're taking the folks by high speed rail, and they're a lot of fun. The trains are beautiful, and we take them by high speed rail from city to city. So they spend 2 or 3 nights in Rome, take the high speed rail up to Florence, take the high speed rail back up on into Venice. So they're getting to these three cities very quickly within 2 or 3 hours of each other by high speed rail, which I loved. That was a lot of fun. The trains are gorgeous. So it makes for a great trip. It makes for a very easy, logistic trip because the cities are right in a row. They're all by high speed rail, and they're all so different. So what a great way to, if you've never been, that's the trip to start with for
Sure.
sure. Yeah.
And then I'm going to just ask you about maybe a romantic vacation for a honeymoon couple. The same thought, maybe a week, 10
Yeah.
days, couple of weeks. Any
So with
special area?
honeymooners, yeah, with honeymooners, actually, and I will say that's on our website and our brochure. Honeymoon business is also big business because it's a romantic country, right? Because of all the wine tastings and the villas that they could stay in and the secluded uh, beaches they could find on the East Coast and things like that. Or, going up to the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful northern country, which is Lake Como, where George Clooney has a place on one of the lakes. So see the Lake District, which is some of the most gorgeous scenery you'll ever see. It's up near the Alps and up near Milan. So anyway, with honeymooners, we do a lot. And the same thing, we find out not only the dates they want to go, but more importantly, do they have any interests? Because, very often the honeymooners may be in their 20s or 30s or whatever age, right? Maybe it's their second marriage and they're now, like me in their 50s. So, it's depending on their age, they have different interests. So we'll ask a lot of the same questions. What would you like to see and do? What things, do you find interesting? Do you want to go hot air ballooning? Do you want to, have a private villa? Do you want to go horseback riding? What would you like to do to make your wedding that much more special? And then we build that custom honeymoon package for them based on their interests and based on the answers to the questions of what cities they'd like to see if they have any in mind, and help them build that great trip. So we do a lot of honeymooners, though. It's big business and a great choice for honeymooners.
Sure. And I have a final question of the
Yeah.
day, and that is what is the next vacation that you have planned to Italy or that you're starting to plan for yourself?
Well, actually, what I would like to do, because when I went recently, well, not recently, prior to COVID, but last time I went, so 2 years ago, we did the Rome, Florence, and Venice run. So it's by high speed rail, and I have to admit that was really amazing because Rome is such an incredible city to see, not only during the day, but Rome at night is just it takes on a whole nother flavor. So Rome at night was magnificent. Florence was beautiful. Venice was honestly of the three, I think Venice was my favorite just because I'd never seen anything like Venice. Everything is done by boat, everything. So I just found that really, really interesting, fascinating, and beautiful. But when I go back, my next trip hopefully will be the Amalfi Coast. I'd like to head further south, see Naples, Sorrento, Capri, the Amalfi Coast itself, Pompeii, of course, right, where the volcano blew. So I'd love to see the Amalfi Coast the next time because that's a gorgeous area. But there's so many, it's hard to pick.
Yes,
But
you could go every
that's
year.
a good start. Yeah, that's exactly right. Easily could go every year.
Well, thank you for sharing that with me. My
My
name is Rick
pleasure.
Saltarelli. I'm with Salty Breeze Cruise Planners, and this has been Beyond Your Front Door. And I've been talking to Bruce Waters. He is the Florida representative for Ciao Italy Tours. And we've been talking about one of the most beautiful places in the world where you can do a customized trip and have the experience of a lifetime. And it will be that experience because you're in the hands of a great tour company and it's customized to what you want to do.
Right.
It all starts with a call to us at 888-332-8202. Thank you. And
Beautiful.
thank you, Bruce.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Rick. And contact Rick. He will be happy to help you out and get you to Italy with us.
Thank you.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.